All right, so we are back with the How to Get in Shape When You Are Short on Time series. In part one, just in case you guys missed it, we covered how to train for fat loss when you're short on time. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about how to build efficient workouts for muscle definition when you're short on time. A lot of the people that I work with are executives who travel a lot, obviously really busy work schedules, have marathon work weeks, and so when it comes to fitness, it's something that they really value, it's something that's important to them, and they want to improve both their performance and their body compositions, but they don't have a lot of free time in order to do that. So one of the things that I do as an executive fitness coach is help my clients find time-condensed ways of getting into better shape. Okay, so if that's you, this training will be helpful for sure. And if you're spending time currently working out a few days or more per week and you're not seeing good results, you need to realize that you are working out the same amount of time as someone who is in excellent head-turning shape, okay? It's not about how much time you're spending working out, assuming that you do work out a little bit. It's more so that you are not using the right workout plan or strategy in order to transform your body. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. And this is good news because, if you are an executive, you can't create time out of thin air, right? Time is something that is limited and often not in your control. So you need to know how to be as effective as possible when you are working out in order to create better muscle definition. And now we can get into it. So as far as what to expect today, here's sort of an outline. We're going to talk about what equipment you need. A lot of people ask me, do I need all these fancy gadgets? Do I need to buy workout equipment for my house? I work out at a gym, or maybe you're working out at a hotel and you're wondering if you have enough equipment for building muscle. We're going to cover that. We're also going to cover muscle definition formula. Like, what is it? What creates the lean, toned, athletic look? Even if you don't necessarily want to look like a bodybuilder, it's important to know physiologically what you need to do to your body to have that sculpted look. We're also going to talk about workout plan ABCs. So just putting together an effective workout plan, right? A lot of the people that I work with either are currently or have in the past worked with in-person trainers. And unfortunately, often trainers don't use the most effective, efficient plans. They may be there encouraging you, helping the workout feel fun, giving you a pat on the back, telling you you're doing a good job. But the truth is, if you're treading water with your physique and you're not seeing your body change, there's probably something wrong with the plan. So we're going to talk about what you need in your workout plan to not tread water. We're also going to talk about exactly how much time do you need to spend training. That's important, right? And then also lastly, and this honestly might be the best part to stick around for, really common mistakes I see people make that will absolutely waste your time in the gym. So first off, we're going to talk about what equipment do you need. This one's pretty simple. You can get the job done when it comes to building lean muscle. You can get the job done with dumbbells. If that's all you have, that's actually great, okay? You want to do resistance training, which means your body needs to be moving against a force. That's essentially what that means. And as long as you have a decent set of dumbbells, that's really all the equipment that you have to have. Next, I would say barbells. If you can get access to a barbell, it's really easy to add a lot of weight to barbells by adding plates to each side. That's something that you can do incrementally, and that would be, if you can get dumbbells and barbells, that's excellent. Also, during COVID, I had one client that only had access to barbells, so you can also create an entire routine solely with barbells. So if that's you, that's fine. Lastly, if you have access to machines, that's great. Machines can be excellent for isolating certain muscle groups. If you want to target one muscle but not another one, can be helpful. Also, sometimes people with injuries can do better on machines just because you can leave certain muscle groups out of a specific exercise. So again, even just using dumbbells, you can get the job done. You don't need a fancy gym. What's more important is being able to make it to the gym consistently. So wherever you can work out most consistently, that's the equipment you should be using. So if you've got a loaded gym, but you can only make it there once a week, and you've got a full set of dumbbells at home, probably better to use your home gym and be there consistently, okay? When it comes to the muscle definition formula, so what does it take? Again, what do you need to do to your body? You're dealing with things like body fat and bones and muscle and your overall body shape. You need to know what you've got to do to get the toned look, okay? And what we're talking about specifically is muscle definition. So when you can see defined muscles on someone's body, what does it take? Well, it takes low body fat, and it takes having muscle on your body, developed muscles. So in terms of low body fat, specifically how much low body fat do you have to have? Like, what should be your body fat percentage in order to see muscle? For men, it's about 8 to 15%. That's typically a really happy range. 8 is very, very lean. Honestly, most guys are probably really happy anywhere between 13 to 18% body fat even. A lot of guys are really happy there. For women, a little bit more, 14 to 20% body fat. Most women look very lean. And you need to know that, especially if you're someone who doesn't want to waste time in the gym, you need to know that this happens primarily through your diet. And that doesn't actually cost you any time. If you are interested in this series on how to save time, you need to tune in next time, because the next lesson I'm going to be covering is how to eat right to get into better shape when you're short on time. So anyway, having low enough body fat really comes from diet. And if you try to lose body fat through training alone in the gym, you will run out of time. Okay, you cannot out-eat a bad diet. It's just in terms of efficiency, that's a very poor way to go about it. Okay, so I don't want you guys wasting time. In terms of having enough muscle on your body, how do you do that? Well, growing muscle is called, essentially what you need to focus on is muscle hypertrophy. Okay, that's referring to increase in muscle size. Not necessarily as much strength, but size. Obviously, they happen together, but that's what we're talking about when we're talking about growing muscles. And this happens by tearing down muscle fibers when you lift weights, and then they rebuild themselves up bigger and stronger than they were before. This is assuming you're eating the right kind of nutrition to support this, which really has to do with protein and calories. Also, you need rest and recovery for this. Okay, so this is not just training. Obviously, diet, as you'll see, is a huge piece of this too. Okay. Now, this is important to know, and you start to see where this equipment can get the job done if you need to be tearing down your muscle fibers on a microscopic level, okay? That's why you need weights to do that. Technically, you can do it with your body weight alone, but it would take a very, very long time. And if you're looking to save time, weights is gonna be a faster way of doing that. And a lot of people, I had a client recently in his 70s who was able to build a lot of lean muscle mass and lose body fat during our time working together. And one of the things he was doing before was actually lifting really lightweight and doing a lot of cardio. And he thought that that was the best thing to be doing for someone his age, but it actually wasn't. It's actually better to lift a bit heavier. And obviously that's something that's sometimes good to have the guidance of a coach for, because if you lift too heavy, too quickly, and in an uncalculated way, you're likely to injure yourself, which will not save you time. So obviously this has to be done in the right way, but weights are definitely important when it comes to having a nice physique with lean muscle. Also, if you're going to build muscle, it can happen while you're losing body fat. It often does simultaneously. But if you want to be in a very serious muscle gain phase and you have gotten lean enough, you've lost enough body fat to be able to focus on building muscle for a while, you're going to need to be in a slight surplus. And again, this comes back to diet, okay? This is why you have to know your numbers. If you don't have someone guiding you on how to track food in a reasonable way so that you can hit targets and gain muscle and reach goals in a certain amount of time, then you're going to really struggle with this, okay? Just like running a business, your body is the same way. There's a science built in here. You can understand it, and when you do understand it, you're able to aim for targets and actually hit them, again, in a given amount of time so that you're not treading water and not that person that looks the same year after year in the gym, even though you're working out, okay? As far as how much weight you should be gaining in a muscle gain phase when that's your primary goal, you should be gaining about 0.5 pound per week, max. And that's because the human body, assuming you're not taking any kind of crazy steroids, obviously if you're on TRT, you might be able to push this a little bit, but naturally you can gain about 0.5 to 2 pounds of lean muscle per month. That is slow. Fat loss is a lot faster than muscle gain. Muscle gain is definitely a long game, but that's where the 0.5 pounds per week rate of gain comes from. All right. Just want you guys to know that there are answers to these things, and it's important for you to know what you should be aiming for. Okay, so as far as workout plan ABCs, now this is how you actually piece together a workout plan that will create more muscle definition over time. First thing you have to have in your workout routine, and if you are someone who's working out with a trainer, quiz your trainer on this. If you want to not waste time and just show up and have fun working out, you actually want to create a transformation where you look better and you reach your goals, you should be having these things in your workout routine and not just be doing random workouts every time you hit the gym. And also, if you're working out on your own, sometimes people end up just doing the same workouts on repeat, and that's not effective either. So first thing you need is resistance training. Like I already said, lifting heavier will save you time. Obviously, this does not mean that you just try to set PRs every single time you're in the gym. Doesn't mean you lift like an idiot and just lift as much as possible. That's not good. There is a calculated way, as you'll see, to go about this. A lot of people wonder, how heavy is heavy enough? There's something called RIR, which stands for reps in reserve. Basically, how many reps do you have left in your tank when you're done with your set? So a more simple way of saying, how heavy should you be lifting? I tell people lift at about 90% effort. Okay, you shouldn't be failing on your last rep in whatever set you're on, but almost. Okay, and that's what that's explaining there. Okay. The next thing you need in your routine is periodization. And this refers to more of the macro structure of your workouts. Again, there should be organization where you are neither doing the same workouts on repeat forever, and you're also not switching it up every single time that you're in the gym. So with periodization, you want a set of weekly recurring workouts for 4 to 6 weeks with a primary focus before switching to a new set for different muscle stimulation, okay? And that will keep your body from treading water and plateauing in the same place. A lot of people get stuck at different plateaus on their journey to gaining more muscle, and that can be a reason why. Like I said, this does not mean making your workouts random every time you enter the gym. It doesn't mean, having just entertaining workouts with a trainer. If you're someone who wants to reach goals, you need to be following progressive workouts. And that leads me to letter C here, which is progressive overload. And this is another feature that should be in your workouts. This is another anti-plateau mechanism that will keep your body from staying in the same place. So what this refers to is incrementally, and I mean incrementally. A lot of guys want to, throw another 50 pounds on each side when they go to lift the next week if they're trying to progress and lift more over time, and that's not good. You really need to slowly inch your weight that you're lifting up over time. Sometimes that means adding weight. Sometimes that means adding reps. It could mean adding an extra set or decreasing the rest in between sets, or it could even mean just slowing down your reps, which I cannot tell you. It kills me, you guys. How many guys, typically it's guys, sometimes girls, in the gym are just lifting as fast as possible. I mean, I see people like lifting this fast. That is not giving you good muscle stimulation. You're not going to have a pretty physique that way, and that is one of the ways to waste time. I'll cover it more in just a minute here, but remember, slow, controlled, and your overall progression needs to be slow and controlled too. It needs to be incremental, so very important. Okay. And again, this will prevent injury. Injury is one of the biggest time wasters out there if you're going to try and grow your muscles. You want to prevent that at all costs. Next, how much time do you need to spend in the gym? One of the things you need to focus on when you are lifting and you're doing your resistance training routine is balanced muscle group training. And this is important for you to know because this allows you to know how you can break down your workouts a little bit more clearly throughout the week. So, studies show, just for generally a good approach to building muscle, hitting your muscle groups 1 to 2 times per week is fantastic. Obviously, you have to use the right intensity, but knowing this, it leaves a lot of flexibility for how you want to break down your workouts throughout the week. This is also important so that you aren't overworking your muscle groups. If you are just working out your muscles over and over and over throughout the week, same muscle groups over and over, it can actually create a worse body composition over time because you're not allowing your body to rest in between. It's over that rest and when you're eating the proper nutrition that your body rebuilds your muscles up bigger and stronger than they were before. And so I have a lot of people that kind of run their bodies into the ground, work out way too much, way too frequently, and on top of it, a lot of people are doing cardio, and that's just not going to give you the physique that you're aiming for. So you need to know that. As far as how to break it down specifically, here are a few options. Again, the people I work with have set schedules that are you can't remove your career responsibilities. It's going to take up a lot of your time. And adding on top of that, your schedule often changes throughout the week, right? So those are things that are not in your control. But what's nice is when you have, especially if you're not tied to an in-person trainer and you're using more of a strategic plan, which is what I give my clients, you have the ability to choose when you work out, okay? So if you're someone who can only be in the gym 2 times a week, that's okay because this is something you can be consistent with. And again, you can use features like periodization or progressive overload to still transform your body over time and to still make sure you're progressing, right? If you are someone who just has 2 days to be in the gym per week, you could do a 2-day split. So you could do 1 full body day and a second full body day. That's one option. Or you could do an upper body day with like every single muscle hit in your upper body and then a lower body day, okay? This would be probably a better option. I wouldn't necessarily do this. Might even delete that. But another option for a 3-day split is doing a full body day and then an upper body day and a lower body day. You would still be hitting each muscle group 2 times. Okay. Another way to split it up If you're someone who has 4 days to work out per week, this is great. This is honestly what I have most of my clients on, is a 4-day split. I myself follow it a lot of the time, but you could have an upper body day, lower body day, a second upper body day, and a second lower body day. You see how you're hitting your muscle groups 2 times per week with all of these splits. Lots of options. You could also do a push day, a pull day, and then another push day, another pull day, okay? Using muscles either on your posterior chain or anterior chain muscles. If you have 5 days to work out per week, or you're someone that just enjoys working out a lot, I have a lot of those clients too, you could do, they call this a bro split: chest, back, shoulders, legs, bis, and tris. And then another version of splitting up could be full body, upper body, lower body, upper body 2, lower body 2, okay? So you do not need to be in the gym 7 days a week. You don't even need to be in the gym 5 days a week, to be honest. You can get it done in 4 days if and only if your workouts are intelligently designed and well organized. If you're someone who doesn't have the time to create the plan, you need to outsource it. If you're someone who is not aware of what your plan is and you're training every day on your own, or you're working out with an in-person trainer and there's no plan in place, and you look in the mirror, I mean, here's a really simple one if you're wondering if your workouts are effective. Look in the mirror. Are you taking progress pictures? Do you look the same as you did a month ago? Honestly, I wouldn't want someone to be stuck at a plateau for really more than a week, maybe 2 max, and then something needs to change if you're not seeing results. A lot of people don't want to drop their ego to see that what you've been doing for months or maybe years isn't working. You could be the most consistent guy in the gym, but whether your plan is effective or not shows up on your body. I can see it instantly. Again, you could be very consistent with your workouts. You could be working out really hard. It doesn't mean that you're following the right plan to transform your body. So again, I tell you guys this stuff because I'm assuming you're someone who wants to know the truth and you don't want to waste time. All right, really common mistakes that will absolutely waste your time. These are great to go over. Poor intensity or form. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are not really taking their training seriously when they're in the gym. I see a lot of people chatting, and I guess that's not a problem if you're doing it in between sets, but if you are chatting while you're lifting, you're probably lifting too light, okay? If you can do your next set before 2 minutes, there are some accessory moves, that are using smaller muscle groups that maybe 90 seconds is okay for rest in between sets. But if you're doing something like squats or deadlifts or bench press and you're ready to hit the next set in 1 minute after resting for 1 minute, you aren't lifting heavy enough. So if you're wondering, is my intensity high enough? Look at your rest time. All right. Yeah. And if you're not sure, if you feel like your numbers are constantly changing from set to set and they're not like pretty similar, you might need a warm-up set to kind of find your true weight for your working sets, okay? Like I just mentioned, try to lift roughly the same reps each set. So if you're supposed to do 3 sets of 10 to 12 for bench press, you shouldn't be benching 20 on the first one and 15 on the second one and 8 on the last one, right? You need to be within that 10 to 12 rep range, all right? And adjust your weight accordingly. If you notice also that you're having to drop your reps as your sets continue, you're probably not resting enough in between, okay? Maybe your weight is correct and you're just not resting enough in between. These things matter. As far as a lifting tempo, when you are moving the weight forward, obviously like 2 counts forward, 1, 2, no rest at the top, and then 1 count down is fine, okay? That is an example of a tempo that would work well. This is not a lifting tempo, okay? Doing quick little movements like that, it's more like cardio. I'm telling you, people that do that, they don't have good physiques. If you want a nice look, you need a slow and controlled tempo. Watch bodybuilders. I know you guys don't want to look like bodybuilders, but if you watch people like the Olympia is about to happen, and if you watch some of these athletes train for bodybuilding competitions, again, you might not want to look like a bodybuilder, but you should absolutely be paying attention to how they train because they are able to hit deadlines with their training. They are the ultimate example of how to train when you have a deadline and you don't want to waste time, right? And so many of those people have very slow and very controlled. A lot of them will close their eyes when they lift. You need to control your movements if you want good muscle definition. Nobody cares and nobody notices how much weight you lift in the gym, but if you look exactly the same as you did months ago and you've been going to the gym, people notice that, right? So if you need to drop the weight on exercises, make sure you get really good muscle contraction and really think about what muscles you are lifting with, okay? This is kind of a random one, but one I see happen all the time. If you want abs, I mean, first of all, abs are made in the kitchen. This is one that I agree with. You have to have low enough body fat to see your abs. If you can't see your abs at all, training them is not going to do it for you. Also, obliques specifically, so the sides, the muscles on the sides of your abs. If you are trying to get those to show up, do not train them. So don't do things like side bends. Sometimes people will go on the Roman chair and they will do side bends. When you work a muscle, assuming you know how to grow muscle and you're following some kind of process here, that muscle will grow bigger. So if you think about your waist, you don't want to be bulking up the size of your waist. You want a tapered waist, right? So if you want nice abs and you want a nice waist, don't do anything that's going to grow it. If anything, if you're doing any kind of ab exercise, it should be more like an accordion movement where you're shortening your torso and exhaling your air and crunching up. You don't want your obliques to grow bigger because that'll make you look wider. Okay. Overall, don't train your abs. Focus on getting leaner. Focus on having some kind of workout strategy that actually helps you build muscle. Another thing, trying to spot lose body fat in order to help better muscle definition show up. You can spot grow muscle. You can absolutely choose what muscles you hit a little bit harder in order to grow those, but you can't spot lose body fat. Okay. If you have problem spots show up on your body where you feel like you just hang on to body fat and you can't get it to go away, you just need to get leaner. Okay. You don't need to work out that area. Again, like I just mentioned, if you have a certain place where you're holding more body fat and you work that area out more and you grow muscle there, it's not going to tone it up. It will grow that muscle bigger. Okay, so just focus on losing body fat. It's going to come off where it wants to come off. And if you still have trouble spots, continue to lose more body fat and eventually they will be gone. Lastly, like I already mentioned earlier, lifting too heavy or too often is not going to be helpful and it will absolutely make you tread water or waste your time. Using improper form will cost you your shape. Again, when you are lifting, only activate the working muscle group and think about relaxing all other muscle groups that aren't supposed to be worked at that time, okay? And you'll have to drop your weight on a lot of exercises if you do this, but that's okay because you're gonna have a much prettier physique walking around and people will notice that. Again, hitting a muscle group every single time you're in the gym can actually result in poor recovery and just not a good shape overall, okay? Again, no more than 3 times per week for hitting muscle groups. Even if you're trying to grow a specific muscle group, you really don't need to hit it more than 3 times per week. You're wasting your time if you do, okay? So for example, what this would look like in practice is, for example, if you're doing a shoulder exercise, let's say you're doing lateral raises, obviously you have to hold the weight, but a lot of times people end up holding way more tension than they should in their hand and in their arm. And you're not as much working your shoulder as much as you are, your biceps and triceps and different muscles in your arm. So think about relaxing your arm completely and just, again, close your eyes if you need to, and just moving the weight up with your shoulder. It will feel much different. Again, you'll probably have to drop the weight on some exercises, but it is worth it, okay? Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Again, in part 1, covered how to train for fat loss when you're short on time. And in the next training, I'm going to cover how to eat correctly when you are short on time. Again, all of the people that I work with have very busy schedules. And honestly, even if you didn't have a busy schedule, you should be efficient with your time. Your time is valuable. You shouldn't be wasting it when you're in the gym. If you are someone who's in the gym, that's wonderful. But I really, really hope that you are also striving to be better with your time and you are wanting to use some kind of strategy, right? You don't want to just blindly be working out, looking the same over years and years. Because, you have the ability to not do that. You have the ability to not draw water. Your body will respond correctly if you prompt it in the right ways with the right kind of training and the right kind of workout routine. So hope this was helpful for you guys. Also, in a couple weeks here, I'm going to be doing a 3-day seminar. I'm going to be doing live trainings like this one. Going to go really in depth on my method and exactly how I coach my clients, strategies that I use for them. And this is going to include things like, how do you handle a business dinner? How do you handle working out when you're traveling all the time? Are there supplements that are helpful for losing body fat faster? And obviously, as you can guess, all of these strategies and everything that I teach in that seminar is going to be time condensed strategies, that will work in the executive lifestyle if that's you. So If you want the notes to this training, please drop notes in the comments below. If you want the notes to training from part 1, please drop part 1 notes in the comments below. And if you would like an invite to that free 3-day seminar, then please DM me your email. If you want to drop it below, that's fine for everyone to see too, but I'm assuming you might want to DM that to me and I will get you on the list. Hope you guys are having a great November, and I'll talk